Hello everybody and welcome back to Golden Drifter, and today we are going to be doing kind of a tutorial thing. You can see here I have myself a nice little medieval house. We are here in 1.17. We finally have shaders, which is nice. But yeah, we are here in 1.17. So you can see we have the azaleas, the grimstone, the candles. Love these things. These things are fantastic. So today I'm going to be teaching you how to do a 1.17 survival interior. This is so you don't just have, like, you know, chests in a box. This is so, like, you know, you actually have a nice looking interior, and this will include pretty much everything. I think will be good for this one. So let's get into it. Alright, so the only thing I've done to the interior here is lit it up, but I guess let's get started. So we'll start off over here. So one of the main things I find with interiors is to do the same thing that you do on the exterior, which is frame it. So if we frame it using some of these logs here, it actually ends up making it look way nicer. You can see that looks way better than, you know, all of this. Well, also this is very messy, but that looks way better than just a flat wall. So that's what we're going to start doing first, is just taking whatever you want for your interior palette to be and start to just frame it. And when doing your framing, try and stick to the outside lines framework. So you can see my framework on the outside of the house goes along here. You can see even behind here I have some framework. So try and keep it similar to what the actual house has. Alright, so now that I've framed a bit of it, I will get to this part in a second, but this part here is what we're going to start off with. So now that I've framed it how I like it, again, you can do this however you want. This is just how I'm doing it for an example. Obviously your house will be different. This is my house. So now we're actually going to take slabs and we're going to set it in like this. So now that we have our ceiling, you know, we have enough space. You can see it's 3 blocks over here and 3.5 blocks over here, giving it a nice spacious feeling interior. Now, for one of the most important things in a Minecraft survival base is storage. Now, we're going to be using chests for this just because it's the most universal and they hold the most stuff and everyone uses chests. So we're going to be using those instead of barrels because they're less practical. But if we go right here, what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to take a chest. We're going to take our trapdoors, put it here, build it up a few blocks like that, and then add the chests in here and just cap it off. That's a nice way to have a chest that looks like it's on like a shelf. You can do this with pretty much anything. You can do it with a single one and then put like an anvil or something like that on there if you'd like. I'm just going to keep it with a double chest for now because I have another idea for the end. For the next bit of interior, we're going to do a spruce trapdoor this time. I would say figure out what resources you have near you and then have the trapdoors or whatever be different for each thing. So for shelves, or for like a shelving unit like this, I'm going to be using oak because it has the holes in it. And then for something like what I'm going to do here, which is a windowsill, I'm going to be using spruce because it doesn't have holes in it. So just figure out what you have around you and then adapt to it. Next, you're going to want to grab some fences and just put it in there. So try and do kind of the same kind of detailing that you do on the outside, just adapt it to be in the inside here. So you can see I'm adding this little shelf with I'm adding this little windowsill with this nice bar going up the middle just to divide it up and give it some, you know, extra detail. And I'm going to add a little potted plant with an azalea bush in it because I really do love how those look, and a lantern because in Minecraft Survival, you really don't want mobs spawning in your house, so I'd find any form of excuse to use lanterns or torches or anything. But now that we're in 1.16 and we have candles, there's really no excuse in creative mode building to use torches anymore, because candles and lanterns for what I do for like my kind of build style, and in most cases, at least in my opinion, candles and lanterns are what you use, and then torches are for survival mode because they're cheap. Again, that's just in my opinion, but here I'm using torches just to light it up for temporarily. But I would say go for lanterns more. They're slightly more expensive, but they're not an eyesore. I mean, these are classic, but these look better. So what we're gonna do for a floor is kind of, it's very classic, if you know what I mean. So it's going to be just a fairly simple dark oak floor. We're going to fill it all in to start, and then we're going to detail the floor, because empty floors never look good. You can just have them normally, but I would say do pretty much anything in your power to steer clear of plain floors. So what I'm actually going to do is around the edges, like I said with the framing looks good on the outside, it also looks very good on the inside. So we're going to actually be framing the floor on the ground using the dark oak logs. I'm just using the 4-side one because that's what I found first. I'm lazy. So we have that, and we need a carpet. I would say go for gray. Gray seems to, at least in my experiences, it's the easiest type of carpet to find. And we're just going to put a little carpet right in front of the door there. It doesn't have to be centered because it's kind of like in front of the door, so I'm just going to leave it there. It also, if you have some things that aren't perfectly centered like this, it makes the house feel lived in and actually used over just like a, show home, you know what I mean? So there we go. This is starting to turn out really quite nice, I think. So let's move on to over here. Now, paintings are a very cheap way to decorate an interior. Now, they're hardly essential by any means, but if you just do this, and then you close off those trapdoors there, it's like a frame for the painting, and it highlights it a little bit better. And don't be afraid, even if you've already added in all your windows, to add in more windows. So right there, I decided, okay, a window might be nice right there. I'm going to put one in. So I put one in using the fence gates there. And that is a nice way to just keep it looking very nice. So now over here, we're going to add a trapdoor, another trapdoor. We're going to add a bookshelf in there. We're going to grab our lantern. We're going to build this up a little bit, like that, and place that there. And there you go. You have a nice little bookshelf thing. It's really just one bookshelf, but that's fine. Then we're going to also add another little shelf. It's always nice to have symmetry, but then again, you don't want too much symmetry. So it's a good balance. You need some form of symmetry, but not a ton of it. It's confusing, I know. That's building for you. There we go. There we go. There we go. And there you go. All right. So now we have two nice little shelves right here, just to kind of make the house feel a little bit more crowded. Which, honestly, I don't know why, but I like that feel. Another thing you can do for this is actually make one side of the shelf smaller, or like the shelf on this side, make it feel smaller, just so it feels a little bit less perfect. So that's how I'm going to leave mine. And actually, I'm going to replace my lantern for a azalea plant. There we go. So this is actually starting to turn out really nice. But it's still fairly dark in this spot over here. So what we're going to do, we're going to grab ourselves some fences, and we're going to put them right here like that on either side of the window, or if there's a painting or shelf, try and make the lanterns kind of surround it, and that'll make it nice and bright. And I think this area right here is actually turning out quite nice. Now, if you want even more practicality in your build, you take some barrels. You can actually hide the barrels under the shelf like this, like that. So you can do that on any one of these shelves here, like this, like that. That doesn't look too bad, and it's a good way to give you a little bit of extra storage. I don't need it because I'm in creative mode, so I'm just gonna leave it like that. But that's something you definitely can do. But yeah, I think this area right here is looking just fine. We'll move on to this area. Now, I'm going to actually clean up a little bit of this area in here, so let's just clean up this, like that. There we go. Okay. So now that I've cleaned this up a little bit more, we're going to take whatever framing block you're going to use, and we're going to continue to frame the house. Now for me, because I have this extra high area, I'm actually not going to turn this into 2 floors. I'm going to keep it as 1 floor, but with a loft, which is a really nice way to do things. So we'll do that in a second. Alright, 1 second later. That was dumb. But we're going to just fill in this wall here. And we're going to add just a loft like this. So it's just a 3x3 up there. And you're going to take your spruce or oak trapdoors and you're going to add it like that. Just 2 little ones. Just 3 right there like that. So there we have our loft, and we'll have to find a way to get up there. And I think how I'm going to do that is with just a simple ladder. We have our ladder. We're going to get a bed. I'm going to make mine red just because of classic Minecraft. And we're going to get ourselves a night table. Now, a good way to make a night table, and this is like one of the simplest things ever to do, is to take a barrel, place it next to the bed, then take whatever block. I'm just going to use some oak up here, like that, and take a lantern and actually hang the lantern off the bottom. Now, when I use shaders, this thing will be swaying, but actually, even though it isn't quite on the thingy, you can see it's right there, you don't really notice it, and it actually looks like a lampshade. But another way you can do it is just by placing the lantern there. That looks totally fine. So we have our loft up there. Next thing, we're going to add a nice centerpiece hanging down. Alright, so to make our hanging bit here, we're going to bring it down 2 blocks. Actually, we can probably make it 3 there. There we go. Now you're going to take out this block right here, at least for me because it's in the way, and this block right here, and you're going to replace it with an upside down stair, just so the connection doesn't happen right there. So you're going to bring the chain down 2 blocks, and put a fence on the bottom, and then just make the little star shape right here. Then you can go 1, 2, 3, 4 with the candles or whatever lighting source you're going to be using, and that'll add a nice bit of ambience to right here. It is slightly big, but this is Minecraft, but it does feel really nice when you're looking up this way. Another thing that you can do to this, if you want, is actually hang a lantern from the bottom there. That also works quite nicely, just as an extra little bit of yeah. Alright, so now that we're here, we can also do the floor. So we're going to do the same framing trick that we did on the last floor. And in the corners here, add a upwards facing log, just so the corners actually do look not. Alright, so now that the flooring is done, we can actually start to add more details onto this room here. So we're gonna add a little shelf here. We're gonna add a little shelf here, put the anvil up there, as well as hang a little lantern. There's a little lantern right there. So right here, I'm just gonna add another one of these little shelves in there like that. And I think for this one, we are also going to do the chest for it, just because we do need a little bit more storage. There we go. Like that. That's looking not bad. And then maybe over here, we'll add spruce fence there. We're gonna add a spruce fence there and there, with some trapdoors all along the top, like that. And we can add a stair right there. This can be any stair you want. I'm just gonna use a deep slate one. And yeah, and because this is a pretty small house, I mean, there's not really all that much we can do, so we can add another little thing like that. Another thing you can do if you'd like, rather like over the table, and this is a really cool thing I've recently learned how to do, is make this little couch. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to dig out these 2 blocks there. I'm going to get a white banner. I'm going to add the banner in like that and like that. Add the stair right there and there. and like that, and you can see it actually makes like a nice little pillow kind of look. And to keep it from getting dark, if you have the resources for this, just replace this block right there with some with some glowstone. That's really all you can do, or any form of lighting block. And there you go. Now we have some nice pillows. And another little way to add an extra level of a gimmick onto here is get a rail and a minecart, as well as a piston and a torch. So what you're going to want to do is take up the center block there, build up one block here, place a rail on top of the block, and then a minecart, break the block below it, then just add this here, like that, and boom. Alright, and for the last thing, let's just fix kind of the lighting issue we're having in here. I'm going to add 3 candles onto there. To finish off this room in here, we're going to just add we're just going to add one painting up over here, like this, place that there, and we're just going to add a nice little armor stand over in the corner. There we go. And that's how you decorate interiors. Well guys, if you have any questions, please put them down in the comment section below. And yeah, that's going to do it for today. Hope you enjoyed. If you did, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Turn on those post notifications to never miss another one of my uploads. And yeah, I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye.